What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the 14 weeks out physique update from one of the best from Brazil, Ramon Dino. Incredible condition to be in at 14 weeks out of the show. And this Olympia we all know is gonna be a redemption story for Ramon. Because no one really expected him to get beat by Fazi Visors at this past Arnold Classic. But the thing is that did happen. And now there is a new athlete who is certainly gonna be in the mix, especially in those top 3 spots at this upcoming Miss Olympia. So Ramon Dino has to go back to his roots and do the things that originally allowed him to get to the top. And they were training really hard and really heavy and do a full-on 20 weeks plus prep. And we are witnessing him transform into a total beast already. I mean, the guy is looking so big and so round, and his condition for this far out of the show, that is just superb. I mean, he looks like he's only a few weeks out of the show. So Ramon arguably has one of the best set of abs in classic physique. But somehow Chris Bumstead still manages to beat him in that abs and thigh shot. Because the thing is, the abs aren't the only thing that are being judged in that abs and thigh shot. Chris just had those crazy thick and wide lats that gives him an insane V-taper, probably one of the best in classic. But you have got to admit, Ramon is really turning up the heat this time. So even though he did lose to Wesley Beezers at this year's Arnold, but I think we can all agree that Ramon wasn't at his best. That wasn't a 100% Ramon. So he's ready to make a statement at this upcoming Miss Olympia in October, that he still is the biggest competition for Chris Bumstead. And he's the one who is next in line to be classic physique Miss Olympia after Chris Bumstead retires. Next up is the 14 weeks out physique update of the Persian Wolf, Hadi Choopan. So is there anyone even a little bit surprised that Hadi looks this good at 14 weeks out of the show? The great Dexter Jackson never got credit for having those striated glutes, especially later in his career. Because the thing is, people always knew that the guy is gonna be spot on in terms of conditioning. Everyone knew that he's gonna be peeled top to bottom. And Hadi Choopan too is at a point in his career where everyone just expects him to be the hottest and most shredded guy on the stage. And the thing is, so far Hadi Choopan hasn't disappointed. It is kind of funny. Now if we look back at 2022 and 2023 Miss Olympia, where Hadi Choopan faces criticism that he isn't as ribbed as we have seen him in the past, or that he doesn't have that trademark Hadi Choopan-like conditioning. But even if you compare him to the rest of the lineup, he was still one of the most ribbed guys on the stage, if not the most ribbed guy. But at this year's Arnold, he took his physique and his conditioning to a whole different level, which now is being feared by every competitor out there. And I think all of us can agree that Hadi really doesn't need to get any bigger. He just needs to replicate that same Arnold Classic Ohio look. And it is going to be such a fierce battle for the top spot. So there hasn't been a single man who lost the title and won it back again except for Jay Cutler. In the entire history of bodybuilding, there has been only one man who was able to accomplish that. So can Hadi Choopan become the second person to do the impossible, get his Olympia title back, and beat the reigning champion Derek Lunsford? Tell me know in the comments below. That is a mind-blowing physique update of the classic physique competitor, Stephane, who is ready to compete at this Portugal Pro which is happening this weekend. So that level of detail and dryness that has never been witnessed on his physique before. And keep in mind, at this point where these pictures are taken, Stephane might be running on 0 carbs to make sure that the weight making process doesn't become a problem and it goes really smooth. And he must be on the flat side here, but he's still maintaining a great pop and 3D look to his muscles, which simply means he's gonna look so much better after addition of some carbs. He's gonna look like a totally different bodybuilder after he's done with the carbs loading process. So all the athletes who have worked with Patrick, they say that he's an absolute genius, especially when it comes to peaking his athletes. And not just in the final peak week. His entire approach towards the off-season as well as the prep, that is extremely effective. So the world of bodybuilding has waited for Stephane to unlock his true potential from the moment he came onto the scene. Because the thing is, we rarely come across an athlete who has such great muscle bellies and ideal insertions. The fullness, the striations that Stephane has in his shoulders, in his triceps, in his chest, plus those muscle fibers across all over his body. I mean, how many athletes can you name who has everything, who has all those amazing qualities? So I am really looking forward to him bringing his absolute best to the stage this weekend. So the highlight of the Portugal Pro is gonna be the battle between Nathan Diesha and William Bonac. And thanks to Web1 Instagram page for giving us these final updates from both these amazing athletes. So Nathan Diasha is looking to bring an even sharper package than what we saw at Flex Pro Italy. So he was in great condition in Italy as well. But what was the deciding factor between him and Behrouz Tabani was that Behrouz had such an awesome symmetry. He had such an amazing flow, especially in terms of the V-taper, plus that small waist. And not to mention his width, because he appeared so much wider than Nathan, especially in some shots, like the most muscular. So Nathan is definitely gonna have a better V-taper than William Bonac, because we did just saw at this past Spain Pro that Bonac has now certainly lost some of his V-taper. And both of these guys have amazing density and muscle maturity. So I believe this is gonna be another great show. And Nathan certainly has a chance to win this thing. Now coming to William Bonac. So Bonac's back is looking so incredible right now. Especially in these recent updates, he is looking nuts. And I have to say it will be interesting to see whether these guys play it a bit safe and try to bring that same spin pro look. Or do these guys go for some sort of an experiment with Bonac's peak and gather the data for this upcoming Miss Olympia. So Bonac has that kind of physique that you need to see him in person to really admire how great this guy really is. So he was able to beat a very impressive version of Behrouz Tabani in Spain. And Nathan has never beaten William Bonac ever before in his career. So he's fighting for his Olympia qualification, while Bonac on the other hand has already qualified. So Nathan must be feeling some kind of pressure, because he just cannot afford to lose this one. Because if he does, he won't be the favorite going into Dubai Pro. Well, not to mention we're gonna have another freak of nature in the lineup, whose name is Nilla, also known as Rubel Moaspera. And we know Rubel was able to beat Nathan last year in Prague. So Tim Bodybuilding checks in with the winning Miss Olympia Derek Lunsford when he is about 11 days out of his next show, which is gonna be Vancouver Pro. So Tim right now is looking so massive, especially in that side chest shot, and he's about to take that fullness even further here for Van Pro. So based on how the judges have placed him in the last 3 shows this year, he has to bring something very different and very unique for this upcoming Van Pro, so that he can stand out in order to make some noise. So I don't see how the judges who are placing him 5th or worse in some of these previous shows, how are those same judges are gonna consider him for the top spot here in Van Pro as well. Because those same guys who were able to beat him at these past shows, guys like Beef Stew, was able to beat him at California Pro, and John Jewett was able to beat him in Toronto. Both these guys are competing here at Van Pro as well, and they are also looking to bring an even better version of themselves than what we have seen from them previously. So Tim has looked the best in terms of everything this year. His conditioning has been insane in every single show. His back looks a lot better this year, so that's got to be tough for Tim, because he has done everything in his power to try to win his first pro show and get to that Miss Olympia stage. So do let me know what you guys think. Are there any chances of Tim winning this show? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.